guys, welcome back again, and today I'm working on a 2003 Chevy 2500 with a 6.0 gas engine. Now this procedure is going to be pretty much same or very similar to any 1500, any Chevy Tahoe Suburban with 5.3, 6.0, I think it's a 4.8 liter engine. It's basically the same exact engine except, you know, inside the engine, the internal components on it. But basically what I'm doing today is going to be the oil pan gasket. The only major difference that you're going to run into if you do any other cars is that whether it's a two-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. Now this particular vehicle, it's a two-wheel drive, which is the most common one. So that's probably what you will find in all the Chevy, you know, Tahoe Suburbans, 1500s out there. So for starters, I raised up the vehicle already. I put jack stands on both sides. Make sure everything's completely secure and safe because we want to go home at the end of the day. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go down there and I'm going to take off the splash shield that goes right under the engine to the radiator, I believe. So I'm going to get down there, take that off, kind of show you what bolts you need, what size for those bolts down there. And then I'll show you how bad that oil pan looks. And here we go. That's the splash shield right there. It's gonna take 3 50mm bolts here, and I believe it's 2 50mm bolts here. You really technically don't need to take it off to get to the oil pan. You have a little bit of room, but I like my elbow room. I want to be able to get my hands in here to look at it. So as of right now, look at this oil pan. It is completely filthy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take off this dust shield and I'm going to spray all this around with brake cleaner to get all that stuff out of the way. Just because I don't like to see it like that, even though I'm going to have to clean it up anyways once it's outside. But that's my next step right now. I'm going to take all that off. Also, we're going to need to take off this center kind of bracket that he has here. I believe it's going to be like 18 or 21mm bolts here, and this is just one long bolt that goes all the way to the other side, and it should have 2 nuts on either side. It's 4 bolts total, but once I get to it, I'll let you guys know what exactly size do I need. Also, I'm going to start draining the oil while I'm down here, while I'm taking off all the rest of this. That way it can be nice and dry by the time I get to it. So let's get on. I removed the plate that goes under the oil pan. It did have 2 long 18mm bolts. That's 18mm for the bolt itself and 18mm for the nut on the back. Now what I'm gonna do is go ahead and start cleaning up the rest of the oil pan all around there, and now just start taking off the bolts. Once I get to that point and figure out what size those bolts are, I'll come back. Here's where we're at, guys. Got everything partially cleaned out. I'm ready to take everything out right now. As you can see, that thing right there, let me move the light so you guys can see it. This thing right here is like an oil cooler gasket that's gonna go here. These 2 lines actually go to the radiator. Now this is only on a 6.0s, I believe, because the 4.8s and the 5.3s that I've done, I haven't seen that. It usually just has a little plate there to cover those holes up. But on this case, this one does have it, so I ordered a gasket for there. All the bolts around the oil pan looks like they're all 10mm bolts, including the 10mm bolt right here on the front that's gonna hold the that harness right there in that corner right there. And then you take that 10mm bolt off, and then the harness, you push it that way and it comes right out. Same thing on this side where the transmission lines go, and that harness, the rest of the harness for the starter is just one 10mm bolt. You also have, I think it's an oil pressure or oil temperature sensor on that side, on the left side or the right side of the oil pan. That one right there. So you use one connector, just take it off. So I'm about to take off this oil pan, all 10mm bolts. I'm going to pull it out and clean it out outside. So I'll show you guys how it looks outside, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'll be right back. Over here is the oil pan outside of the vehicle. Also, something I forgot to tell you guys, On the back end of the oil pan facing the transmission, it has two 15mm bolts that hold the oil pan and the transmission housing together. Make sure you get those two. But there it is. I'm gonna clean it up and put everything back. There we go, guys. Oil pan all cleaned up. I got the oil pan gasket right here ready to be put on. Now I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna stick it in there very slowly. That way, make sure that the gasket lines up with the holes. Put a couple bolts on, and then put the rest of them around. Tighten it up and put everything back together. And then put that bracket that's outside. Put it back on there. But that is it, guys. I really hope this video helps somebody out. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I'll catch you guys on my next video. Thank you for watching.